This is Pocket Watching with JT.
Hey, Pocket Watchers. Welcome to Pocket Watching with JT. I am certified financial planner Jayson Thornton. That means I am a real financial advisor. I don't simply play one on the internet. No, see, I do this in real life. At my firm, I specialize in tax and wealth planning for my clients. But on YouTube, I get to react to financial topics in the Black community. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who have showed up. I want to be clear here. Normally, I do my live streams on Friday nights. So you got to ask yourself the question, why are we here today? Well, we're here today because I have to do a do-over, right? Have to do a do-over because I did this live stream yesterday. Just last night, I did this exact same live stream. But when I woke up this morning, I got a weird email, an email that I never got before from YouTube. And in that email, they told me that the live stream was removed. I was scratching my head. I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. I was like, hold on. They said, hey, Pocket Watcher, it looks like Scammerfest, ? EYL, InvestFest, Financial Advisor Reacts didn't follow community guidelines. We removed it from YouTube. I couldn't believe it. Listen, I've been on YouTube for a few years now, off and on, but a few years now I've been on YouTube and I couldn't quite understand what was going on. So I clicked the little blue button and it took me to this. They said, here's what we found. Your video is guilty of harassment and cyberbullying. I said, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Listen, I've been doing this for a while now. Harassment and cyberbullying? That's not the Pocket Watcher. That's not why I do this. And to be honest with you guys, I got a little upset. All right, I got a little bit upset. I got a little in my feelings. I couldn't believe that the live stream was considered cyberbullying and harassment. I mean, you got to understand something, people. I am a financial advisor. I don't rap. I don't sing. Doing this show is my artwork, right? This is a form of art for me. And to have people complain and act as if my artwork is a form of harassment, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that the good brothers at Earn Your Leisure misunderstood my form of art to be harassment. I got upset. I was this close to jumping on my phone and going on Instagram Live and start calling out names and pointing fingers. I was close. But then I had to think about something. Over here at Pocket Watching with JT, we're big believers in mental health. And there's a term in mental health called emotional validation. Follow me here. Follow me here. Emotional validation. This is the act of communicating to someone that their feelings are 1, understandable, 2, valid, and 3, they make sense given the situation. Now, critically, therapists teach that validation is not the same as agreement. See, you don't have to agree that your actions were malicious to validate the fact that it hurt their feelings. See, there's a difference between intent and impact. It was not my intent to hurt your feelings, nor was it my intent to bully you. And I respect the fact that that's how you feel. So let me go on the big screen real quick. I want to make sure I look dead into the camera. To the good brothers of Earn Your Leisure, I want you to know that sincerely, from the bottom of the Pocket Watcher's heart, I apologize. My words clearly did hurt someone, and it was not my intent. I validate that that's how you felt. And not only am I going to say that I'm sorry, but I'm going to make the commitment that moving forward, I'll do better. That is a Pocket Watcher promise. I am sorry. But now, with that being said, I think it's time for us to spin the block. I think it's time to just do it over again, because there's so many people who wanted my review of InvestFest and this whole controversy that's been flooding YouTube. This video right here is not the only video on YouTube talking about this controversy. So let's get straight into it. Now, before I dig into my notes, I want to make sure I give these brothers their flowers. The Earn Your Leisure brand, it is a popular brand in the finance space of the internet. As you can see on the screen, in the YouTube banner of their page, it clearly states that Earn Your Leisure is #1 in finance. And if it's in the banner of their YouTube channel, it's got to be true. It's got to be true. So I'm going to say they are #1 in finance. So let's kind of run down the resumes here. We have Troy Millings. Troy Millings is the co-founder of Earn Your Leisure, and he is a graduate of Manhattanville College. So let's take a look at his background. Now, before Troy co-founded Earn Your Leisure, most of his professional background was, physical education teacher, program director, summer youth internship and enrichment program, and dating all the way back to 2008, physical education teacher. All right, so 2008, physical education teacher, all the way up until around 2016, then 2019, co-founder of Earn Your Leisure. Now, today, he can be found teaching master classes in option trading. Let me double check. PE teacher, master class in option trading. That's one hell of a jump. That is one hell of a jump. Shouts out to you, Troy. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can be anything you want to be on the internet. On the internet, you can be president of the United States on the internet. You can be an astronaut on your way to Mars on the internet. So shouts out to him. Let's move on to the next brother. We have Rashad Bilal. Rashad Bilal looks as if he was an all-star basketball player for the University of Hawaii. Based on his profile, it says that he was a communications major for the University of Hawaii back in 2007. After graduating from the University of Hawaii, according to FINRA, FINRA is the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. According to FINRA, his report says that starting in January of 2008, Rashad was a life insurance agent before co-founding the Earn Your Leisure brand. All right. Life insurance agent. 2008. All right. But today, if you enroll in EYL University and buy the course, he can teach you how to become a millionaire in 10 easy steps. Life insurance agent, how to network your way to becoming a millionaire. Rashad's 10 steps. You can be anything you want to be on the internet. All right, lastly, I have to talk about this brother, Ian Dunlap. Now, Ian Dunlap is not, I do not believe he is an equity owner in Earn Your Leisure, but we have to give this brother his respect because he is clearly an important piece to the overall EYL brand. Market Mondays would not be the same without Ian Dunlap. I don't believe there would be a Market Monday without Ian Dunlap. So based on the information I could find, we have that Ian Dunlap is a graduate of Indiana University. Based on this Huffington Post article back around, I believe, 2017, there's a HuffPost article that says Ian Dunlap changing the world one trade at a time. In this article by Felicia Hamilton, she wrote this article, and in the article, it explains that Ian Dunlap went from being a marketing executive into a financial consultant. He started his own firm out of Houston, Texas, and the name of that firm was Acceleration. Hyper Acceleration. Now, the weird thing for me, understand, I am a licensed and certified financial planner, but the weird thing that I'm missing here is where did we go from marketing executive to financial consultant? Because I did the research, I looked, and I just couldn't find where he got licensed to give financial advice. I couldn't find any type of certification or license to give investment advice. He just went from marketing executive to financial consultant, starting his own firm, Hyper Acceleration. So now he's teaching courses how to make $1,000 per day from the market, even if you know nothing about investing. I believe this course was called The Blueprint to 1K in a Day. Well, hell, I mean, if I'm able to buy this course, if I'm doing my numbers right here, I think I could easily make around $150,000 to $200,000 a year if I bought this course. I mean, clearly I'm going to take some days off. I'm not working 365 days a year. But if I take my time after buying this course, after knowing absolutely nothing about the market and investing, I can make $1,000 a day. Shots out to Ian. Now, also, according to his website, you can join the Red Panda membership. I believe there's 2 categories. You can become an Alpha Blueprint member at the low cost of $40,000. I believe that makes you a Dream Team member. Now, that $40,000 is good for 2 years, people. 2 whole years. Or if that's a little pricey, right? If your budget can't quite fit $40,000 for 2 years, you could join the Stock Club membership. Yeah, the Stock Market Club membership is only $10,000. Now, that's only good for 1 year, but it's $10,000. He can teach you the stocks to own for retirement funds, holding period between 10 to 5 years, just for the low price of $10,000. Once again, you can be whatever you want to be on the internet. All right, so let's kind of bring this in. Gave the brothers their flowers. I want to talk about the controversy now. The thing that the internet has been buzzing over for the past week, maybe 2 weeks now. What's been going on in the EYL ecosystem today, right? What's been going on? So apparently there was this particular broadcast not too long ago where it was referred to as the final word to the haters. I was a little confused. I didn't understand why they had to give this announcement of final words to the haters, because based on the information that I have here, InvestFest 2026 was a hit. InvestFest 2026 was an amazing success. They had over 30,000 people. Do you have any idea how many people that is? 30,000 people came to Atlanta for InvestFest. I'm sure they probably outdid the numbers, right? Just blew the numbers away from the World Cup. I'm sure, like, if we stack the numbers and we take a look at how many people came to Atlanta for InvestFest versus how many people came for the World Cup, InvestFest had to be number one. So let's take a look at this. During that broadcast, particularly Rashad had some tough words for the haters. Some very tough words for generally his overall brand. He wanted the people to know, like, hey, listen, InvestFest is not a black thing. They're going to open it up. It's always been opened up. He was never on the black thing. Earn Your Leisure and InvestFest is an international brand that the black community cannot claim as their own, only to turn around and criticize it. Now, apparently, many of you guys out there were not too happy by what Rashad said, and it forced them to do this public address. Now, during this public address, Rashad made the best attempt that he could at an apology. And the reason why I said that he made the best attempt at an apology is because it is my personal belief, based purely on the limited interactions that I have had with Earn Your Leisure, Rashad has an amazing ego. Okay, listen, Rashad has an amazing ego. And you have to understand that a person with an ego as big as Rashad, it's hard to get an apology. So while most of you out there were unhappy with the apology that he gave, the Pocket Watcher, I was impressed. I was impressed because I understand how much it must have hurt him inside to have to give what he thought was a good apology to his supporters. So while I thought it was okay, while I forgave the brother, many of you were unhappy. There were many people online who did 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Some videos were hours long covering this story. And one particular person's commentary surprised me. This is Earn Your Leisure, the #1 name in finance. If he said that he didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, if you are hurt by what he said, he didn't mean it. I forgave him. But there was this particular video by Boyce Watkins, all right? And I want to make sure that I give Boyce the proper and due respect that he has earned through his years of hard work. This is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Boyce Watkins. He has a PhD in finance, all right? A PhD in finance. And Dr. Boyce Watkins had probably one of the most sincere and articulate critiques on the situation. Yeah, that's coming from the pocket watcher. I know. Dr. Boyce Watkins had a decent critique of the situation. He first commended the brothers on the great work that they did with InvestFest. But he also said that there were allegations of them platforming scammers. And being the big brand that EYL is, they have to take the responsibility of addressing the concerns of the community that he believes and that everyone else believed that Earn Your Leisure was set up to protect and provide for. I agree. I know. Listen, this is one of the few times you will see the pocket watcher come out on a public platform and say, I agree with Dr. Boyce Watkins. I agree. But here's the issue. While I agree with the words that he said, it's a little odd that it came from him. And the reason why I believe that it's a little odd that Boyce Watkins would say that you have to be held responsible and the community has the right to hold you responsible for platforming grifters, it's because of what you see on the screen right here. What you see on the screen are images of Dr. Boyce Watkins and his association with one Jay Morrison. For those of you who are unaware, Jay Morrison is a man that raised multiple of millions of dollars specifically from the Black community. I want to say it was around 12.5, something in that range. But multiple of millions of dollars for his real estate investment fund. Not only did Dr. Boyce Watkins interview him on his platform, but Dr. Boyce Watkins, as you see on the other side of the screen, he was promoting the fund, telling people all of why they should invest in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Dr. Boyce Watkins also announced that he was one of the very first investors in the fund. I believe he said he wrote a $10,000 check, gave it to Jay. $10,000 check from the doctor, PhD in finance. Now, during this speech, Dr. Boyce Watkins talked about his relationship with Jay. He also talked about how he vetted this investment. He said when Jay Morrison first presented the idea of this investment fund, he had some tough questions, some very tough questions about the investment fund. And surprisingly to me, he said Jay Morrison had an answer for every one of his questions. And he said that he had some pretty hard questions because once again, he reminded us that he has a PhD in finance. So he vetted it. He said that the investment was approved by the SEC and that we, as a community, we should invest in the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. He also said that the Tulsa Real Estate Fund has a very strong foundation. All right. Now, the reason why that confuses me, just a little bit, the reason why that confuses me is because maybe the good doctor didn't ask the right questions. I know it's silly for me. I don't have a PhD in finance. I'm just a simple, small town financial advisor. I don't have a PhD in finance, but I think there were some important questions that maybe the good doctor forgot to ask. What you see on the screen here is a copy of the original business registration documents for a company called Tulsa Management Group, LLC. That's the name of the firm, Tulsa Management Group, LLC. This business was set up by Jay Morrison July 20th, 2016. Pay attention to the dates. The dates are very important. Tulsa Management Group, LLC was set up in the great state of Georgia, July 20th, 2016. This is a little more important. This is a bankruptcy petition. Chapter 7 individual bankruptcy. Now, for those of you who are unaware, there's different types of bankruptcy. You can file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. That's total liquidation bankruptcy. You file this type of bankruptcy when you have mismanaged your financial situation so much to the extent of you cannot pay your debts. Your debts have grown so much. There is no way that you can write a check and pay it off in full, nor can you set up a payment plan to settle your financial obligations. So you file for Chapter 7. Now, there's Chapter 11 for businesses. There's Chapter 13 for individuals. Those are payment plan debts, right? You set up a payment plan and you get people together. But with this, Chapter 7, you just say you ain't got it. Chapter 7, I ain't got it. I'm walking away from the debt. I have mismanaged my money. The debt is so burdensome. I have to walk away. That's what this is. This is Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And I want you to pay attention to the date. Jermaine D. Morrison in the great state of New Jersey filed for personal Chapter 7 bankruptcy August the 29th, 2016. Seems a bit odd. The month before, he starts this company called Tulsa Management Group, LLC, July 2016. The next month, he files for personal bankruptcy. The next month, this is September the 27th, 2016, he officially changes the name of the company from Tulsa Management Group, LLC to Tulsa Real Estate Fund, LLC. So I'm just wondering, maybe a weird question, but Dr. Boyce, did you ever ask Jay Morrison, the man who you hand $10,000, Are you currently in Chapter 7 bankruptcy? Have you mismanaged your own money so much to the point where you're filing for bankruptcy before I hand you $10,000, before I step on the stage and tell other people to hand you money? I think that would have been a decent question to ask. Just me. Now, I do want to make a note here. The two people that you see on the screen, we have Antonio Moore of Tone Talks. We also have Yvette Cornell of Breaking Brown. They do not have a PhD in finance. They absolutely do not. But these two individuals, they did ask that question. These two individuals, even though they don't have a PhD in finance, long before millions and millions and millions of dollars were collected from the community, they asked the important questions. And they don't have a PhD in finance. But let's keep this going. Okay. So even though I believe Dr. Boyce had a good message, I don't think he was the best messenger. That's the point that I'm trying to say. Okay, that's the point I'm trying to say. Great message, wrong messenger. All right? Because all of us who have some kind of platform, we have a responsibility to make sure that we kind of vet the people that we bring to our audience so that we try to do as least harm as possible. All right. So during this public address, I want to circle back to this. During this public address, I believe that Rashad had an interesting interpretation of what went down. One of his major concerns, I think, is that Rashad does not believe that Earn Your Leisure should be held responsible for the actions of either people they interviewed on the show or people who they brought on as guests and speakers on InvestFest. They shouldn't be held responsible for the actions of those people after they leave the show or after they step off the InvestFest stage. That's a good point. That's a good point. How can anybody, me included, right? I'm throwing my hand up, me included. How can anyone be in control of what a man or a woman does after they leave? You're done with the interview. You're done speaking on stage. You can't control what a person does after. And I agree 1,000%. All right, 1,000% with Rashad. He should not be held responsible for the actions of people after they have either an interview or they talk on stage. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. I want you to look at something here. What you see on the bottom of this image are the top videos of the Earn Your Leisure brand. Number one in finance. Number one in finance. Remember that. Number one in finance. The top videos of the Earn Your Leisure brand, and the number one video produced by the Earn Your Leisure brand is a video with 19 keys and a man named Billy Carson. This video has over 9 million views. 9 million, that's ridiculous. Now, the title of this video is Hidden Truth: Ancient Civilizations, Multiple Dimensions, Aliens, and Time. All right, okay. I'm going to say that one more time. Just one more time. It says, Hidden Truth: Ancient civilizations, multiple dimensions, aliens, and time. The number one video on the finance platform. All right. Now, I've actually done a video about this individual a few years ago, and I just want to point out some interesting facts when it comes to Billy Carson. Billy Carson, he is the founder of the Forbidden Knowledge brand, right? He's the founder of the Forbidden Knowledge brand, but he's also a man with somewhat of an extensive criminal arrest record. All right. Somewhat extensive. Now, the name you see on the screen may be confusing. All right. The name may be confusing. Let me help you out here. You see a name, it says William Tyrone Karlson. Okay. William Tyrone Karlson. You may say, well, JT, that's not Billy Carson. That's William Tyrone Karlson. It's not the same fella. The picture may look very, very similar, but that's not the same guy. For a minute, I thought that was the same thing. The problem is, when you go to Broward County, you'll see that it is the same fella. He changed his name, right? It's public record. He changed his name. William Tyrone Karlson II, also known as Billy Camrick Karlson II. Same fella. So the reason why I think this is important is because of this rap sheet here. On the top of the rap sheet, it even says that one of his aliases is Billy Camrick Karlson. So it's the same guy. All right, it's the same guy. And it says here that he has several fraud charges here. We've got fraud, uttering false instrument. This is back in 2013. We have another fraud charge, right? We have, forged/stolen driver's license. All right. Unlawfully issued driver's license. We have fraud again, fraud instrument, fraud again. This is all 2013. 2013, years before Billy Carson was on Earn Your Leisure. Years before Earn Your Leisure, just to show you that. Now, back in 2014, during this case, in the great state of Florida, the Honorable Judge, Mr. Robinson, took a change in plea. Looks like Billy changed his plea back in 2014, and he changed his plea to no contest. Make that a little bigger for you. Changed his plea to no contest to all those fraud charges. All of those fraud charges, no contest. That means I'm not even fighting it. No contest. Not going to fight it. Looks like he was sentenced to 12 months of probation back in 2014. All right. So that doesn't quite fit the narrative that Rashad was talking about. Rashad made a good point. What can he do about the actions of a person after they're on EYL? But those were the actions of a person before, right? Before. We got another one here. The next guy we're bringing to the Summer Jam screen is Jonathan Dupiton. Jonathan Dupiton. Now, Jonathan Dupiton is a very interesting character, an extremely interesting character. As you see, he's on the Fest stage for 2023. All right. Here he is. Now, not only was he on the stage, he's on a flyer. Well, what does that mean? Why is he on a flyer? Well, if he's on a flyer, that means they are advertising the fact that this man is going to be there. They're using the fact that this man is coming to InvestFest to entice more people to come. He's not an attendee. He's not someone who bought a ticket on the low end, $300, on the high end, $10,000. He didn't just buy a ticket. He's invited to speak. He may have got paid. I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know how these conventions work. I don't go to conventions like this, but I'm assuming he might have got paid, right? Or he paid to get on it. One of the two. I'm assuming it's one of the two. But here he is on the InvestFest stage 2023. The problem with this is that January the 27th, 2015, he has a criminal indictment for fraud. Criminal indictment for fraud 2015. All right. Criminal indictment for fraud 2015. Let's see what happened here. It looks as if the Department of Justice put out a press release, so it's kind of easy to find. All you got to do is Google his name. The point I'm trying to make here is you don't need to hire a private investigator to get this information. Just Google their name. That's all. Just Google their name. And this pops up. It talks about how a convenience store owner sentenced for food stamp fraud and identity theft. August the 3rd, 2017. August the 3rd, 2017. All right, let's see what happened here. It shows that the federal government said that he committed almost $400,000 worth of fraud. $400,000. To be clear, it was $395,388.01 worth of fraud. And it says that on August the 3rd, 2017, Jonathan Dupiton received 45 months of federal imprisonment. 45 months of federal imprisonment. That's before, right? That's before InvestFest 2023, right? I mean, I'm not a scientist, just a humble, small town financial advisor. To be honest, if Rashad or Ian was watching this right now, I don't have a crystal ball, but I would assume, just an assumption, I would assume that Rashad or Ian would probably call me broke. They would probably call me broke. I'm a brokey. I don't have the bread they have. You shouldn't listen to Pocket Watching with JT. He may be licensed to give financial advice, but he doesn't have the money we have. Okay. So I'm not a scientist, but I know how time works. If he was convicted of fraud in 2017, that would mean that came before getting on the InvestFest stage in 2023, right? I mean, I could be wrong. Chat, please let me know. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to be corrected. But that's just how time works. Now, let me show you how bad of luck that EYL has. This is how bad their luck is. Not only was this man convicted of fraud in 2017, then he jumps on the InvestFest stage in 2023. But he is indicted again for fraud in 2025. These guys got to have the worst luck of any finance brand there is. I mean, how could it be? Who would imagine, right? Who would imagine that a man that committed fraud and is a convicted felon for fraud in 2017 then turns his life around and becomes some kind of financial influencer? You bring him on the InvestFest stage, then he gets indicted again for fraud? Who would have thunk, right? Who would have thunk it? I would have never thought that a man would commit fraud twice. Not twice. Now, according to the Department of Justice, it says the Fraud is Dope podcaster sentenced to federal prison again. Again. All right. Says here that he was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison. This is April of 2026. And that he also got hit with a $2.2 million restitution. He has to pay back $2,284,836.68. That's just bad luck. Just bad luck. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? You know, man's on the InvestFest stage, already a convicted felon at the time, right? At the time he's on this stage, he's already a convicted felon for fraud. He ended up going back. All right. Now, I've got one more for you. I think I saved the best for last, right? I think I saved the best for last. I got one more for you. Now, to be clear, I could keep going. I could keep going, but I just wanted to do the top three, right? The top three. This time, we got to have a conversation about this man right here. All right? Now, unlike the other two, you may be unfamiliar with who this man is. His face may not be familiar to you, but that's why you have the Pocket Watcher. That's why I'm here. I'm here to serve the people. The man you see on your screen, his name is Frederick Badji. Frederick Badji. Now, Frederick was a guest on Market Mondays. Yeah, he was a guest on Market Mondays. And according to my notes, that episode aired October the 4th, 2021. The dates are very important. I want you to focus on this. Dates are very important. He appeared on Market Mondays, October the 4th, 2021. And on that podcast, he claimed to be a high-level Wall Street guy. High-level Wall Street guy. He claimed that he worked for various high-profile firms. JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, and presently, he claimed to be working at Guggenheim Partners. For those of you who are unaware, Guggenheim Partners is a very prestigious financial firm all over the world. All over the world. Now, the problem you may see on the screen right here, this is a document from the state of New York, right? We have the people versus Frederick Badji. Great state of New York. The people versus Frederick Badji. What did Freddie do? Well, even though he appeared on Market Mondays, episode 74, aired October the 4th, 2021, the man claimed to be the senior managing director at Guggenheim Partners. Senior Managing Director at Guggenheim Partners. That's what my notes say. That's what my notes say. When I originally aired the episode about Freddie, EYL took the video down. So I no longer have that video to reference, but I got my notes, and I'm trusting my notes. And my note says that he claimed to be the senior managing director at Guggenheim Partners. Now, the problem is, look at this long record of arrests that he has. We have April of 2015, March 2016, October 2016, November 2016, August 2017, January 2019, September 2019. He was charged with a Class D felony, third-degree robbery. Third-degree robbery in 2019. All right, seems a bit odd. This is an image from the official inmate lookup service for the NYC Department of Correction. NYC Department of Correction. This is his official page on the inmate lookup service, and it shows the various dates that he was incarcerated. All right. This is what's kind of important. Look at the timeline here. We have a man who initial trial proceedings started October the 11th, 2019. That's when the trial started. Now, the issue is his court date kept getting pushed back, okay? Sometimes the justice system can go slowly, right? Now, one of the big problems is during this time, remember October 2019, that's right before COVID-19 jumps off. Follow me here. This is very important. This man is behind bars during COVID-19. And because of the health concerns, right? Because of the health concerns of COVID-19, the New York Corrections Department, in their infinite wisdom, allowed this man to leave his cell because they didn't want people to get sick on their watch. Remember, COVID-19 in the early stages, people didn't know what was going on. It was a very scary time, okay? So on August the 23rd, 2021, Freddie got released from jail. Didn't want him to get sick. So August the 23rd, he's released from jail. October the 4th, 2021, we're talking about the matter of weeks, right? Weeks. Do the math, right? If I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. But if we do the math, August the 23rd, 2021, October the 4th, 2021, we're talking about weeks of getting released. Now, it's not like he's free and clear. He got released because he still got to deal with the case. In the matter of weeks from being released from jail, he's on Market Monday, claiming to be a high-profile Wall Street guy. For those of you who are unaware, a man with the arrest record that he has would not be allowed to walk through the door of Guggenheim Partners, let alone be the senior managing director. All right, so let's see this. So here he is October the 4th, he was behind bars August the 23rd. October the 4th, he's on market Mondays. November the 10th, he's back behind bars having to deal with the case. We're talking about weeks in between. Weeks. All right. November the 10th, his trial finishes up around January the 24th. All right. Trial gets started back November the 10th. His final trial date, January the 24th, 2022. He's found guilty. Believe it or not. He's found. And he ends up getting sentenced on April the 7th, 2022. So what are we talking about here? What was all this for? I want to be extremely clear. I'm not claiming that Earn Your Leisure themselves are grifters or scammers. I'm not saying that. Not today. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that a platform as big as Earn Your Leisure has a responsibility to do a better job vetting the people who they bring on, who they platform, to a community that they know aren't the most financially literate. Let me put it that way. A community that they are very aware is not the most financially literate, where they are trying to do work to raise the level of financial literacy. I would imagine that they would think it's a little more important to vet the people that they bring up. But listen, mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. So step number one, I believe they hold a more responsibility to vet the people that they bring up. That's step number one. Step number two is when a mistake happens, you don't sweep it under the rug. When a mistake happens, it needs to be addressed. There needs to be some sort of correction. And I think that's the reason why there's such a big controversy around Earn Your Leisure, Invest Fast. I mean, besides the point that these guys keep sticking their own foot in their mouth, right? A lot of this is self-inflicted wounds. To be honest, all of it is self-inflicted wounds, but there has to be a level of accountability. That's what we're trying to say. Is Invest Fest Scammer Fest? It depends on your interpretation. I've heard plenty of stories, good stories, of people who went to Invest Fest. They were able to learn something that they never knew before. They were able to network with people who improved their business. I applaud that. And I'm not saying that the mistakes that Earn Your Leisure has made wipes away all the good work that they've done. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that there has to be some level of accountability when things go wrong. That's all I'm saying. It's got to be some accountability when things go wrong. And there are people on the internet claiming that EYL is over. It's over. They're not coming back from this. I'm not one of those people. There's no way that this is the end of EYL. I think they've done way too much good for this to be the end of EYL. But what it should be a teachable moment. It should be an opportunity for them to take a step back, look at what happened, move forward in a way where you mitigate the risk as much as possible. Because I want to remind you, you can be whatever you want to be on the internet. Whatever you want to be, you can be whatever you want to be on the internet. So fellas, while you strive to build the biggest financial brand known to man, at the same time you're climbing that ladder, you gotta make sure that you're looking out for the people who you have claimed on several occasions. You're looking out for the people who you're trying to help and protect. You gotta do it, right? That's my opinion. I appreciate each and every one of you who came out to see me do this episode again. Now, if anything that I've said in this live stream, right? If anything that I've said, you interpreted as harassment or you interpreted it as cyberbullying, I apologize. I apologize. Once again, I want to remind you, I am letting the people know earn your leisure is the number one in finance. They should be respected. They should be congratulated. And they should not be torn down for the mistakes that they made. But we do have the responsibility to hold them accountable. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So I just want to wrap up saying thank you for coming back out 2 days in a row to hear me say the same thing, but this time without any harassment. I want to invite anybody out there. I am a small town. Some people would refer to me as being broke financial advisor, but I do have 7 money rules that can help you improve your financial life. I don't have 10 ways to make you a millionaire. I don't know. I don't know how to make you a millionaire in 10 easy steps, but I can help you improve the way you manage your money with these 7 rules: budgeting, emergency savings, debt planning, insurance planning, tax planning, wealth planning, and estate planning. I give you all the information for free on my website. Go to pocketwatcher.net. Costs you nothing. It is free. A free financial planning app where you can create a budget, where you can track your debt and help pay your debt off faster. And I have a video course. It is free. A video course step by step of how you can better manage your money. It costs you nothing. Nothing. But if you have a more serious question for the Pocket Watcher, maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck, maybe you're getting letters from the IRS and you don't know what to do, you can get a free phone consultation from the Pocket Watcher. It costs you nothing. Go to the same website, pocketwatcher.net, click the free phone consultation button, sign up for a free phone consultation, call the office. Some of you skipped that part. Call the office during the appointment that you set up, and you will talk directly to me, and I'll do the best I can to help you in your financial situation. So I'm out. The Pocket Watch is out. I want to make sure I give a shout out to everybody. We got Philip Sadiq in the house. Thank you, Philip Sadiq, for supporting the content. One of our moderators here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We got Universe Soul, right? We got our brother. Thank you so much for coming through and supporting the content. Another moderator over here. And we've got Paint and Sound, another moderator over here. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I will be back next Friday. That's when we do the show normally. Please, this was not intended to be harassment, nor was it intended to be cyberbullying. If I've hurt you with this presentation, email me. Go to pocketwatcher.net and you will get a one-on-one apology from the Pocket Watcher. Good night.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified Financial Planner Jayson Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.